When you're working on any project, communication is key. If you did not already know that, I'm telling you now. Communication is probably the make or break skill that you need to have when you are managing any type of project, whether it is a Salesforce related project or not. And that's where this tool comes into play. So the tool that I'm going to show you now is called Jasper. I love this tool. For those of you who are not familiar with it, first I'll start off by saying that in the last couple of years, specifically in the last 1 to 2 years, the technology around artificial intelligence has exploded, particularly when it comes to creating content, audio, video, photos. There's a tremendous amount of new tools available out there really to help any professional in any industry or even on the creative side as well. So what is Jasper? Jasper is an artificial intelligence tool, an AI tool to help you with writing. I like to think of Jasper as if it's my writing assistant. So imagine that I'm hiring someone to be my writing assistant. However, this tool, because it's a tool and not a person, is capable of churning out an unlimited amount of content 24/7 in pretty much any context. So when I say that, Jasper focuses purely on text, with the exception that they have a whole other tool for Jasper Art. Not talking about Jasper Art within this context. So when it comes to putting out text, I'm going to show you how Jasper works specifically within the framework of a project manager. So if you are managing any type of project, even more so a Salesforce project, I'm going to be giving you some examples of how I use Jasper to help me craft my words far more quickly and more efficiently and more concisely than I could really do on my own. Now, by the way, for those of you who know me, I am not the kind of person who is ever really short of words. Words always come flowing out of me, whether it is in typewritten form or verbally. And I do consider myself to be a really good writer as well. I consider myself to be someone who is capable of writing in a very clear and concise way. But having an assistant like Jasper at my side makes it so much easier for me to get content out in the tone and the type and the target message that I am trying to get out. I spend less brain cell activity and less time on putting that content together, putting those words together. And I'm going to show you right now what I mean by that and how it works. Over here on this screen, what you're going to see is we've got templates in Jasper, and we also have what's called documents. I'm going to get to documents later, but first let's focus on the templates here. And when I say that, there are a lot of templates that we can see going on here. So I can keep scrolling down. There are many different templates that you can utilize. And by the way, you can use a lot of these in some very creative ways above and beyond what's even listed as the description of the template. So these templates are really meant to help you. You don't have to use any of these templates, but these templates are really meant to help you, the user, give the appropriate inputs, the appropriate guidance to Jasper so that it knows what you're looking for, what type of writing you're looking for as an output. So let's make believe for a moment that I am focusing on a project around cleaning up, simplifying the Salesforce screens. Let's say we're focusing on user adoption and people within the organization absolutely, they just hate Salesforce. All they can do is spew the venom that they feel towards Salesforce. The system is confusing and it's overwhelming and it's complicated and the screens are cluttered and therefore they're using their Excel spreadsheets. And I am the project manager who is working on a project to help them overcome these issues. I need to bring them to the table. I need to engage them in the conversation to better understand which parts of the screen is it okay for me to get rid of? What is the clutter? What is bothering them? How can I actually help them in order to overcome this issue. So first, what I'm going to do is, and I can pretty much start anywhere, but for this example, what I'm going to do is first I want to engage them in a conversation to help them to start bringing them into a meeting to discuss some of these issues. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to first, I need to encourage them. I need to get them on the same page as to why they should even care about this project, because they hate Salesforce so much that they might not even want to have the conversation. So as you can see over here down below, we can use a bunch of different templates for this. I can start over here with the before and after bridge framework. And when I do this, I can see over here that we have some inputs. So depending on the template that you choose, you'll have slightly different inputs that you can give. The more context that you can provide, Jasper, just like if you had a writing assistant, the more context that you can give that writing assistant, the better that they will know what it is that you want and need. And you just write in regular English over here. So over here, I'm going to type in, instead of company product name, I'm going to call it Salesforce Enhancement Project. So the content description, I want to encourage my Salesforce users to participate in a kickoff meeting for a project where we will explore the frustrations that they currently have in using Salesforce to streamline and simplify the screens to make their lives easier. Tone of voice, I'll just say friendly for now. And over here on the bottom, I can choose how many outputs I want. For now, I'll just leave it as 3 and I'll click the button generate. And now over here on the right-hand side, I can see we have 3 different outputs. Now I can use these as just part of an email that I'm sending out. I can use these as part of a Slack message or a message in Teams that I'm going to send out. So this can be simply just a small component of a broader communication piece that I'm using. It could be part of a presentation that I'm working on. Before, I know that you are frustrated with Salesforce because it is difficult to use and understand. It takes too much time to create reports and the data is not always accurate. After, we're going to make your life easier by streamlining the screens in Salesforce so you can spend more time selling instead of entering data into a clunky system. Bridge. Let's get together for an hour on Thursday at 2 p.m. So again, this is like a writing assistant giving you a starting point where you can go ahead and tweak it. And of course, you take out the prefix over here of before, after bridge. Let's get together for an hour on Thursday at 2 p.m. Eastern for a kickoff meeting where we will explore ways to simplify your work day using Salesforce. This one is far simpler, as you can see. Before, I'm frustrated with Salesforce. After, we're going to make your life easier. That's a little rough around the edges to work with. Before, I want to encourage my Salesforce users to participate. It looks like it simply spit out exactly what I put in over here. So not always is everything perfect, but this is freaking really cool stuff. Now, by the way, let me show you over here. Let me put in, instead of friendly, empathetic. And instead of 3, let me put 7. And I hit generate. And let's see what comes out. Before, I have been using Salesforce for a long time and I'm frustrated with the current system. It's hard to find information. There are too many clicks between screens and it's difficult to navigate from one screen to another. This makes my job harder than it needs to be. So basically we can use this to summarize what the end users are articulating in terms of their frustrations, to indicate we hear you. This is what generally we are hearing from the business users. After, the new Salesforce Enhancement Project will make your life easier by streamlining the screens so that you can get more done in less time. We're going to simplify navigation, reduce clicks with screens, and add helpful tips along the way so that you can focus on what matters most: selling. Bridge, in other words, how do you get from the before to the after? Please join us at our kickoff meeting next week where we'll explore how we can improve your experience using Salesforce. And you can see as I scroll down, we've got a lot of other options to use. But let's jump over to a different template. So let's say if I like one of these, by the way, I could just go in here, I can make some edits, I could just hit copy and I can paste it into a Microsoft Word doc, Outlook, email, Google Doc, PowerPoint presentation, whatever it is that I'm working on, and edit it. This is a starting point to help get your words out a lot faster. But let's go here and take a look at some of the other templates that we could potentially use. So now let's go over here and let's take a look at feature to benefit. We are working on a Salesforce project to clean up and simplify the screens for our business users. And tone of voice, by the way, for tone of voice, you could put pretty much anything. You could put an actual tone, professional, friendly, cordial, optimistic, frustrated, annoyed. I can keep going on and on. Or you could even use a tone of voice by referencing any public figure that has a lot of content out there on the internet. So for now, I'm just going to leave it as optimistic. And I'm going to leave the default outputs of 3. I'm going to click generate. And now we can see over here, standard benefits and emotional benefits. So each one is broken down. We will be able to work faster and more efficiently. The screens will be less cluttered and easier to understand. We'll be able to take on bigger projects with ease. Our business users will love the simplified screens. Cleaner screens will make it easier to find the information you need. This project will make your job easier. You're going to love how much easier your job becomes. Having a clean, simplified screen will help you feel more in control of your work. Your screens will be clean and organized. You'll have an easier time finding the information you need. You'll feel more in control of your work. You'll be able to focus on your goals with fewer distractions. This is pretty darn good stuff that you can use with any communication piece that you're working on for your end users. Let's go ahead and take a look at another template, and we can just poke around over here. Let's use this one, listicle. Watch this. And for this one, I'm going to put in how your workflow will be streamlined by having simplified Salesforce screens. And list count, sure, let's leave it as 10. Tone of voice, let's do empathetic. And I don't need that many outputs. Let's just do 5. So when I hit generate, it's going to give me a list. So I can start, this can help me quickly build out like a lot of content to give people more context. So I could even take that, whatever I'm going to get in the output over here, as each one could be an individual slide of a presentation that I'm working on, encouraging people, here's why they should care about this particular project. Fewer clicks. With fewer clicks on the screen, you'll be able to spend less time clicking around to find the information you need. This will save you time and make it easier to get your work done. More relevant information. By having the most relevant information on your screen, on each screen, you'll be able to find what you're looking for more quickly. This will help you work more efficiently and get more done in less time. Easier to use. With simpler screens, Salesforce will be easier to use overall. This will make it quicker and easier for you to get started with using Salesforce, and you'll be able to get more done in less time. More intuitive. The simplified screens will be more intuitive to use. By the way, as I'm reading this, I think this should turn into a blog post. Just saying. More visually appealing. The cleaner, simpler look of the Salesforce screens will be more visually appealing and easy on the eyes. This will make it more enjoyable for you to use. Enjoyable to use Salesforce, and you'll be less likely to get frustrated with it. Faster loading times, reduced errors, better data quality, greater efficiency. That's simply output number 1. I didn't even get to some of the others down here. Now, by the way, let's make believe for a moment that I really like this one. And I want to turn this into maybe a full-blown blog article. Maybe I want to turn this into a series of emails that I want to send all of our Salesforce users, let's say dripped out each day of here are the various benefits that they're going to get with this project. Again, convincing them that they really need to get on board and they need to help us out with this particular project. So what I'm going to do is this. I'm going to click over here where it says open in documents. Remember before I told you that there's this documents feature over here? So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this output and I'm going to turn it into a Jasper document. You're going to see what I mean by that in a moment. So I'm going to click open in documents, and it's going to open up a brand new document in Jasper. So let me explain what's going on over here. So on the one hand, you could sort of think of this as a canvas like a Google Doc, where I could just write whatever I want. However, I have Jasper here as to give me some artificial intelligence magic, and I can go down here where it says write a command, I can input a command right there, or I can still access the templates that we had before in order to build this out even more. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to, let's make believe this is going to be, this is header 2. So this is a header, and I want to build out the information in here to put more meat behind it of fewer clicks. I want more than just one sentence. By the way, the underlines that you see over here, this is Grammarly. That's basically saying, I don't care what Jasper said. From a Grammarly perspective, there are ways to make this even cleaner, even easier to read. So that's what you see going on over there. So now I can take this fewer clicks and I can go over here. You see, I have all of the same templates that we had before. They're all accessible to me within the context of working on this document. So I can go here and I can click paragraph generator, and I can specify what is this paragraph about. I want to educate my Salesforce business users on how our Salesforce enhancement project to simplify their screens will result in fewer clicks when using the system, which will improve their workflow. Keywords to include: if I cared about SEO, if I wanted to make sure certain words were in the outputs, I can put some keywords here. For now, I'm just going to leave it alone. And for tone of voice, I'm going to say optimistic. And I only want 3 outputs over here. So I click generate content, and now it's going to generate those outputs right over here. I am confident that our Salesforce enhancement project will simplify your screens and result in fewer clicks when using the system. This will improve your workflow and make it easier for you to get your work done. I believe that this project will educate my colleagues. No, you lost me at that sentence. As part of our Salesforce enhancement project, we're working to simplify the screens that our Salesforce business users see when they're using the system. We believe that this will result in fewer clicks for them and an overall improvement to their workflow. We're hoping that this will help increase their productivity and make their workdays more efficient. We're excited to roll out this change. That's a pretty darn good one. Do your business users find themselves clicking around aimlessly in Salesforce trying to find the right data or tools? If so, our Salesforce enhancement project is here to help. We've simplified the user interface and streamlined the workflow, which will result in fewer clicks. So if you want, you could be talking about it in the future tense. This project will instead of this project has. If I didn't like that, I can just go here. I can tweak the inputs, or I can tweak over here the tone of voice to say I could be professional instead. And let's see what happens. By simplifying the screens that business users see in Salesforce, we will reduce the number, this is way better. We will reduce the number of clicks required to complete tasks. This will result in a more streamlined workflow and improved efficiency. In order to ensure the business users are able to take full advantage of the benefits of the project, we'll provide training and support. We'll be available to answer any questions that business users. Okay, so let's say I want this paragraph, this output. I'm not even going to read any of the others down below, and I want to include that in this document that I'm building out. And again, each one of these could be a slide on a presentation. Each one of these could be its own separate email. This could be a blog post that I'm creating internally, an internal newsletter to our Salesforce users. So I'll just click copy. And I'm going to hit paste over here. And again, Grammarly is saying, by the way, you can clean this up even more. So I can simply do that. So now I can move on to the next thing, more relevant information. Let's clean this up a little bit. And over here, I can add some line breaks. And I can go here, and now I can basically continue building out, following the exact same steps that I did earlier to continue building out this document so that I have all of the content that I need in order to persuasively communicate to my business users. Here's why you really need to pay attention to this project. Here's why you really need to help us out and give your feedback to get them all excited about what we're working on, even though in the end, what we're working on is really not that glamorous, not that sexy at all, but we're putting it in terms that relate to them, that will actually help them in a tremendous way. Let's go back over here to the initial page that I was on before on the templates, and let me show you some other functionality that we have. Let's say I wanted to put together a presentation, and within that presentation, this is a project that's all about cleaning up data in Salesforce and encouraging people to review their records in order to make sure that they're addressing any half-baked data, erroneous data, duplicate data that we might have in the system. So in order to address this, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to leverage the personalized cold emails template. And here I'm going to explain we need your involvement in this critical Salesforce project in order to address the defective and inaccurate data that we have in the system. We need to identify and resolve the baked, erroneous, and duplicate data that is currently frustrating everyone on the team who uses Salesforce. Can you please join us next Tuesday at 1 p.m. in the Ohana conference room to help us kick off this project? Let's call this Salesforce Data Cleansing Project. Context to include in the email: the defective data issues in Salesforce are resulting in lost sales and lost customers. And as you can see over here, I only have 80 characters to work with. So I'm going to trim this a little bit and just make that plural. Tone of voice, friendly. We don't want to come across as condescending. So I'm going to leave over here just 3 outputs. I'm going to click generate, and let's see what Jasper does for us. Hi, First Name. I hope this email finds you well. We are in the process of putting together a Salesforce data cleansing project, and we need your involvement. As you may be aware, our Salesforce system is plagued with defective data that is frustrating everyone on the team who uses it. This has resulted in lost sales and customers. We need to identify and resolve the half-baked, erroneous, and duplicate data that's currently clogging up our system. Can you please join us next Tuesday at 1 p.m. in the Ohana conference room to help us kick off this project? It would mean a lot to me if you could make it. Thank you for your time. I hope you're doing well. I'm reaching out because we have a critical Salesforce project that I think you would be perfect to help us with. As you may know, our data in Salesforce is defective and inaccurate. This is causing lost sales and customers. We need your help to identify and resolve the half-baked, erroneous, and duplicate data. This is pretty damn good stuff. So as you can see, I can give you a million different examples, but as you can see, this is a fantastic way to get your thoughts, your concerns, like whatever it is that you need to get out there to make it a communication piece of some kind, regardless of the communication channel, and to really get it out very, very quickly. Actually, before I wrap it up, I'll just show you one other thing, especially when it comes to creating video. So let's say you're working on a project where you're creating a training video where you're teaching people how to use the new system, showing them the actual new stuff that's coming out. That's easy to do. Basically, you have the business requirements for the project. You know exactly what was done. You know exactly the perspective for the team. But the question is, how do you kick off that video to get them engaged? Because as we all know, it's within the first 30 seconds, 1 minute. Either you have their attention or you don't. And if you don't have their attention, they're not going to watch everything else. So I'm just going to show you one other really, really cool feature. That is the video script. Hook and introduction. So watch this. Video title. So I'm going to call this New Salesforce Project Rollout, how we've simplified the Salesforce screens. Fine, I'll leave it at that. Tone of voice, let's again say friendly. And I'm just going to hit generate. Hook. In this video, we're going to take a look at how we've simplified the Salesforce screens for our new rollout. Hey there, my name is, and I'm part of the team that's responsible for the new Salesforce rollout. One of the things we wanted to do was simplify the screen so it would be easier for everyone to use. In this video, we're going to take a look at how we did it and show you some of the changes we've made. Is this not freaking amazing? This is so damn cool. Next, Salesforce is a powerful tool, but it can be overwhelming for new users. In this video, we'll show you how we've simplified the screens to make it easier for everyone to use. Hi there. My name is blank, and I'm a project manager at blank. We're excited to be rolling out our new Salesforce screens and wanted to show you how they work. I'm not even gonna bother reading the third one. I mean, this is just these 2 are good enough. Anyway, so I think you could start to get a sense of why I love this tool so much. Like, could I come up with this stuff on my own? Absolutely. Could I write it as quickly and as concisely and clearly and persuasively as I did just now without this tool? No, there's no way in the world that I could. So, in a nutshell, that is how I use Jasper when it comes to working on any type of project. It helps me with all of my communication pieces for pretty much every aspect of working on any project whatsoever.